Hey everybody, how are you? Hope you're doing well. Do me a favor before we get started, and if you hit that like button, if you're not a subscriber, I need you to do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and notification bell next to it so that you will not miss an episode. So today we're going to talk about what to do with every paycheck that you get. So there's a strategy to have in mind, and we are going to talk about that. All right, so this is called the 75 15 10. So spending 75%, investing 15%, and saving 10%. So before I get started, there's a disclaimer that this is not financial advice. All right. So when it comes to spending, you want to stay away from debt as much as possible. I know that things are chaotic, right? And some people have lost their jobs, all kind of things going on. However, you want to try to stay away from debt as much as possible. Now, when it comes to things like buying property, this does not apply. So, when you buy property, you're using leverage to build your wealth. And that is basically the difference between the rich and the poor. The rich use leverage to buy property, to build wealth. All right. So, staying away from debt, that's not included when it comes to buying property, right? When it comes to spending, you want to stop financing things. So when you get ready to buy something, say for example, something breaks down in the house. So you're going to hear this term from the salesperson. Would you like to finance it? Or we can do payments. So when you hear the word payments, that should set off an alarm in your head that they're getting ready to set you up from financing. So financing is what you want to avoid if at all possible. Now I know sometimes times are hard, right? So you may have to finance it. All right. But in the long run, this is something that you want to avoid if at all possible. All right. So when it comes to investing, 15%, this is the bare minimum. So this bucket is building your wealth. All right. So it's very important to invest. And we'll talk about some things to invest in a few minutes. 15%. All right. You have some people that do more than this. Some people really get carried away with this. And some people are doing 50%, 60. So the 15% is where you want to be. All right. Savings, 10%. So this is for your emergencies. And you want to have 3 to 12 months. This is for the things that happen in life, um, job loss, go here to get the money, your car breaks down, if there are any parents watching and your child gets sick, needs to go to the doctor, if there's anybody watching that is taking care of parents. So you have the 75, 15, 10. And you want to make sure that this is automated. So this is happening on a routine basis without you even thinking about it. So the investing is automated. All right, it's happening day in, it's happening day out. All right. So according to statistics, 60% of the population are living paycheck to paycheck. All right. So, how do you get out of this cycle? You get out of this cycle by getting into the wealth creation tools. What are the wealth creation tools? Investing. All right. And we're going to talk about that a little later. All right. So, when it comes to earning money, say that you have a raise on your job, or you have a new job, or you have income coming from a business or a side hustle. When you earn more, you want to make sure that it doesn't all go in this one bucket of spending. But when you earn more, you're going to increase the investing. You're going to increase the savings when you earn more because you have these three buckets in mind. So whether you are bringing in $4,000 a month, this bucket applies. Whether you're bringing in $5,000 a month, this bucket applies. Say that you have a successful business now, bringing in $10,000 a month, the bucket still applies. All right. So having some kind of strategy is very important. So you want to check the numbers to see, are you doing this? All right. When it comes to credit cards, you want to pay off the credit card because they're charging you a 24% interest rate. So paying off the credit card is important. You can do that gradually, like every week you have in mind what you're going to pay off. And then you can do things like transfer the balance to a 0% APR credit card. You can do that if you choose. All right. But they are making a lot of money off of you from the interest, which is 24%. So paying off that credit card is important. And you want to make sure you don't pay it all the way off. So you don't pay it to a zero balance. Because if you pay it to a zero balance, they're going to cancel the card. So make sure you just leave a little bit on there. All right. Paying off this credit card because they're making a lot of money off of you from the interest. Also, when you pay the credit card off, this is automatically going to increase your credit score. So even if you're not doing anything else but paying down this credit card, your credit score automatically increases. All right? Because that's what they're looking at. They're looking at this credit card. They're looking at, is it maxed out? They're looking at, are you under the utilization ratio, which is 30%? And to have the maximal credit score, you want to have this down to less than 1%. That's going to give you the maximum credit score. All right. So there are some other things to be working on also besides these three buckets. The three buckets, this is strategy, having some kind of strategy when it comes to the finances. So in addition to that, we want to increase the income. Increase the income. So whatever you're making now, we want to make more. So how do you make more? Start a business. You could do a side hustle. You could gain a new skill. Usually that involves something like taking a boot camp or going back to school. You could get a new job that's going to pay you more money. Or you could get a raise at the current job. But one of the main, most important ways is start this business. All right. That's the change. So there's got to be some kind of change in these finances. The first change is having a strategy. This is the second change. Starting a business. Starting a business. So when it comes to investing, you can invest in things like the S&P 500. And one example of that would be SPY. This is an ETF. It gives on average 10% a year. So stocks usually give 10% a year. All right. So you will find stocks that do way more than that. And that is the individual stocks. However, this is the safe road. When you go into ETFs or index funds, ETFs are the safe road. So over the last 100 years, the stock market has risen by 10% a year on average. All right. Index funds and ETFs are the safer road. In addition to that, you want to add some risk. The risks are individual stocks. More risk, more reward. All right. So the majority of the population will retire broke. And why is that? Well, usually it's because there's no strategy. It's the strategy. Usually because there is no business. This is the business. And usually because there's no involvement in real estate. So this is the real estate. So on top of that, a lot of people are still not in the stock market. All right. So you got your three buckets. This is the stock market. You have your business. And you have your real estate. And because of that, you are not going to retire broke. All right. So do me a favor, if you like the channel, I need you to hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, I need you to do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and notification bell next to it so that you will not miss an episode. If you are interested in improving your finances, check out my free newsletter below. We talk about things like what's going on in the economy, what is going on in the stock market, what's going on in the real estate world. So check that out. Free newsletter below. Also, if you know anyone else that is interested in improving their finances, go ahead and share the channel. Let them know about this channel. Also, tune in. I will be bringing people onto the show. I interview entrepreneurs. I interview real estate investors. I interview people that have different types of businesses. So tune in for business ideas. Also, on your way out, don't forget, hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button and notification bell next to it so that you will not miss an episode. Also, feel free to leave your comments below. Thank you for watching, everyone. I will see you on the next video.